Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our March lunchtime webinar. I'm always pleased to see so many faces because I know you're very busy people, and for you to give up your lunchtime for us, I'm always very, very grateful. So today we have quite a special webinar for you because it was Down Syndrome Awareness Week last week. We like to invite people with Down syndrome and people who've had a lived experience to come and share with you their lives, really. So we're very lucky today. I'll just move my slide on. So I'm the training manager for Down Syndrome UK. Positive About Down Syndrome, which you know is our healthcare initiative. And today we're very pleased to be joined by Claire, who's a mother of a young lad with Down syndrome, Milana, as well as Florence, and they're going to tell you about their lives. But just as a way of introduction, and if you haven't been to any of our webinars before, I thought I'd just give you a brief introduction to what we do as a charity and a little bit of research that we've done, and then I'll hand over to our guest speakers today. So Down Syndrome UK is a national parent-led charity. As you know, we have Positive About Down Syndrome, which is our healthcare initiative, and we work very closely with midwives, with health visitors, and we've done a bit of research into how women were given the news their baby had Down syndrome, as well as a lot of work with surrounding breastfeeding. We've been working with the Institute of Health Visitors, and we've had our research published in the British Journal of Midwifery. We've also got some e-learning modules with the Royal College of Midwives. So our vision is very simple. We want a world where everyone with Down syndrome lives their best life. Very simple. And I guess we're very proud that we champion the lived experience. We're sharing experiences of our parents, of our families, and people we know have Down syndrome. And by sharing the lived experience, we empower the parents and the caregivers. We educate professionals like yourselves, but we're also involved in lobbying policymakers, as our two speakers with Down syndrome will be telling you about their roles in terms of working with the government. And we aim to enlighten the public so that everybody has an up-to-date idea of what Down syndrome is like. These just a basic summary of the initiatives that we run. Apart from Positive About Down syndrome, we also have various other initiatives to help healthcare professionals, health visitors. We've got a whole load of education programs, and we support families with their EHCPs and DLA. So do have a look at our website if you're looking for any particular aspect of supporting families with children with Down syndrome. Just to show you, I show this every time, just to show you that we are a credible organisation. We asked our parents what do they think about us as an organisation, and do they trust the information that we give them, and are we supporting them in the right way? And thankfully the majority of them said yes. So moving on to today's webinar, we find that often there are a lot of assumptions surrounding Down syndrome, and we don't want you as healthcare professionals to generalise about what you think life with Down syndrome will be like. Often people with Down syndrome are lumped into a homogenous group and defined by medical characteristics and physical characteristics. And we don't want people to be defined and limited by that label of Down syndrome. Ideally, we want you to assume competence as a primary thought. We want you to see beyond any challenges that they have, because you'll find that a lot of them, especially the older people with Down syndrome, they are striving to circumvent those challenges, recognise and maximise the individual strengths of the people with Down syndrome that you meet, and have high expectations of what they're able to achieve. And this is from birth, really. I have to say, hand on heart, that when I had my son Billy, who's now 15, I had very low expectations of what I thought he might achieve, and that was mainly because I knew nothing about Down syndrome, and he has smashed any expectations that I had. So we want you as professionals to also have high expectations for children, babies, children, and people with Down syndrome. The research that we have performed recently in association with a PhD student from the University of Warwick, we found that a questionnaire of women that had babies in the last 2 years, well, 2019 to 2022, they told us that 37% of them felt that the attitudes of healthcare professionals had a negative effect on their mental health. So that's quite a high percentage. And when we delve deeper, 31% felt they weren't given enough reassurance on the future. 34% said they weren't given enough mental health support antenatally, and that goes down to 26% postnatally. So we would say that the figures are pretty shocking, and we always say to our healthcare professionals, the easiest and simplest thing that you could do is make sure that you have a contemporary understanding of what Down syndrome is like in the 21st century. And if you have that contemporary understanding and the up-to-date knowledge of what Down syndrome is like, it's very easy for you to lessen the family stress and improve the mental health of those families. So we consider it to be quite simple. A lot of parents, when they have their babies with Down syndrome, there's lots of worries that they may have, and one of them is, will they be able to cope with having the extra pressures of having a baby with Down syndrome? And statistics shows that there's quite a lot of positive aspects to having a baby with Down syndrome. Nice things like put life in perspective, growing as a person, greater understanding of other people. And personally, I feel practically all of those. And another thing that parents worry about is that their child will never fit in and they will live with them forever. They won't have those independent skills to thrive independently as perhaps other siblings that they have. So this is where our speakers with Down syndrome come in, because they're going to tell you about how fulfilling and independent their lives are. So I'm going to hand over to Florence. Florence is going to speak to us and then disappear because she has a meeting with the APPG for Down syndrome, the all-party parliamentary group for Down syndrome. So she has to rush off to her next engagement. So I'm going to hand over to Florence, and she's prepared a few slides for you, and she's going to tell you about herself. So over to you, Florence. Are you there, Florence?
No, I'm here now.
Hey, excellent. That wasn't you. I think that was our technical issues. So as I said, Florence got to rush off, but she's going to tell us about her life and what she does. So I'll move on to your first slide, Florence.
Yes, please. So my name is Florence Garrett, and I'm 31 years old. I live on my own in a supported living house in not far from Twickenham Stadium. I love living on my own. It's really fun. And then I have support workers. The next slide is about my education and what I do. So I went to school in a mainstream school, and then I studied GCSEs. I also studied in college by studying hospitality and catering level 1 and 2. And I also studied childcare level 1 and 2. And I also worked in a young English kindergarten in Pimlico to help children and play games as well. Next slide. So I'm talking about my supported living arrangements. So the first picture is about me in supported living house for 5 years in my old place. I then recently moved in my new place in not far from Twickenham Stadium. I love being there, being on my own, no noise at all. It is really nice. Next slide. This is about my work. I have 3 jobs, one of which I am a librarian, postmaster, and stock check. In the second picture, I am a hospitality and catering assistant in Liverpool Street, and in the third picture is hospitality and catering in Temple. And one of which I am nominated for an award for front of house and rising star. I came second in the first year. In the second year, I was nominated, but I didn't get any awards. Next slide.
Good to be nominated for an award, though, Florence.
Yeah.
So these are your paid jobs, aren't they?
Yeah, these are my paid jobs. This is my volunteering jobs. Just want to let you know that swimming teaching and dancing teaching are my paid jobs for them my volunteering. I also volunteer for Swim England by being a front of house. Sometimes I'm a kid carrier. Next slide. So I go to college. It's more like a training college. It's half work, half college. I am learning how to become a barista. I really love it because I love serving customers and I like to talk. Next. And then this is about my swimming. So in the first picture, I actually swim for Great Britain, and I'm in the first picture. I was looking at a picture of a training program about swim for myself. In the second picture, it's about me cheering because I've got a medal, and in the last picture, it's about me about to get into a warm swimming pool because of the smoke coming out from the pool.
Yeah, it's an outdoor pool, isn't it? When I saw that, I thought, oh my goodness, that looks freezing. But you told me that it was a nice warm pool, didn't you?
It is.
Excellent.
When the smoke comes up, it's so nice and warm.
Yeah.
So I'm learning how to travel by myself. I know how to travel by plane. So I went to Skopje when my mum and dad used to work. And I travelled from there back home to London. Second picture is me travelling to go to work. Third picture is about me travelling to see my mum in Kyrgyzstan. Next slide. This is about my work in the advisory group and the policy group. In the first picture is me going to vote for the general elections. And the second picture is about me preparing for a Down syndrome advisory group meeting. Third picture is about me talking to members of parliament. We're about to go soon. And in the last picture is about me for an event for World Down Syndrome Day.
That was in Parliament as well, wasn't it, that last one?
Yeah, it was in Parliament.
Thank you, Florence. I think we got to the end of your slides. So
Yeah.
What I want to say is I met Florence as part of the National Down Syndrome Policy Group, advisory group, which are all adults with Down syndrome that help shape the Down Syndrome Act, hopefully, that's been passed through government. It's getting their voices heard by the government. And Millie's involved in this too, and you'll be hearing from her in a moment. But so thank you very much, Florence. I just wondered if anybody had a question for Florence before she has to rush off to her next appointment in Westminster. If you have got a question, I can't see anyone. So Tracy, are you able to unmute somebody if they've got their hand up? But if not, we can move on to Millie.
If anyone has a question, they can unmute themselves.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I think you've impressed everyone, Florence. Thank you ever so much for joining us today. And good luck with your... Oh, look, hang on a minute. Zoe's got her hand up. Zoe, Zoe, do you want to ask Florence a question?
It wasn't a question. It would just say, well done, Florence, and keep up the good work because you're achieving amazing things. So it's quite inspiring actually listening to you. So well done.
Excellent. Thank you. That's the whole idea of this webinar. So I feel inspired as well. So I'm glad that you feel the same way. Okay, Florence, off you pop, and I'll see you on Thursday at our what is it? A summit, isn't it? We've got our first conference. So I'll see you Thursday. But thank you so much for sharing your life with us. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. See you then. Bye. Okay. So You might be thinking, well, how can we follow that? Because that's blooming marvellous. Well, we happen to have Milana with us now, who you may recognise, who's recently been on the Extraordinary Portraits programme with Bill Bailey, which she's going to tell you about. But she is an aspiring actress. She's also part of the National Down Syndrome Policy Group, changing the way people with Down syndrome are viewed in the government, and like I say, helping getting people with Down syndrome getting their voices heard in government. So I'm going to introduce you to Millie now, and she's going to tell you all about her. Millie, are you there? You can see from the pictures that she's met a lot of famous people.
We just need Millie to unmute.
Are you there? Millie, there's a microphone icon at the top of your screen. And if you just click on that microphone icon, and you'll be able to speak. If not, we can come back to you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Good stuff. Good stuff. Excellent. So once again, I'll just introduce you to Millie. She's with us, and she's going to tell you about what she's been up to. Over to you, Millie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Milana, but my friends call me Millie. I went to mainstream school, and now I'm a 20-year-old aspiring actor, currently training at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama in London. When I graduate in July, I'm happy to learn part in a TV series, and I've just been asked a couple of weeks ago if I would be the film being written and directed by a BAFTA award winner. I love acting. People with Down syndrome don't very often get a chance to see characters that look like them on TV or the big screen. I wouldn't change that. I also love advocacy. So, as an advisor for the National Down Syndrome Policy Group, I speak directly with parliamentarians about specific ways that laws and policies can be updated to better support the Down syndrome community. I'm also working with a member of the all-party parliamentary group for Down syndrome to establish a pilot program using artificial intelligence to identify and fill noise gates for students so they can achieve far more in school. Education is so important, and we still have a lot of room for improvement. So the next generation of babies with Down syndrome will have every chance to succeed in school. Oh yeah, and I have a salary job with a national trust in Runnymede. So you can see, I keep myself busy and I'm living a full and fulfilling life. Another project I've been working on, and that's why I'm here today, is talking with health professionals like you about the huge impact you have on the future of every baby with Down syndrome. Things have come a long way since the 1960s, when the life expectancy for someone with Down syndrome was just 12 years. Life expectancy now for babies born with Down syndrome is 60 years and rising. Medical advances and better testing for things like heart defects have made that possible. New parents look to you for guidance and reassurance. You are the trusted professionals. And getting the news that their baby has Down syndrome is a moment they'll never forget. Just 20 years ago, my parents were called into a consultation room, and the doctor and nurse, with the saddest faces and totally manageable, told my parents the very sad news that I have Down syndrome. Fortunately for me, my parents already knew someone with Down syndrome named Emma. Emma was doing amazingly well and achieving way beyond society's stereotypes. Nicola Enoch, the founder of Down Syndrome UK and Positive About Down Syndrome, did one of the best and most meaningful TED Talks I've ever seen about the impact doctors and nurses had on her when her son Tom was born with Down syndrome. Please make a note and watch it on YouTube. Nicola Enoch, TED Talk. It will show what a huge impact we all have in that critical moment. 20 years on, and things are better. I heard a story just last week, talking to a mum in Starbucks, who was so grateful when her 3-year-old daughter was born, that doctors and nurses were upbeat and informative, not sad, and gave her resources straight away, so she and her husband could learn about Down syndrome. Resources which offer an inspirational path to the bright future today's babies with Down syndrome have. The future of every baby is often closely tied to the vision of their parents, and the course of that vision is first set by you. There are loads of great resources out there now. Organisations like Down Syndrome UK, Posted about Down Syndrome, and the National Down Syndrome Society all provide loads of useful information for new parents. And there are many individuals and families who share their lived experience in real time on social media sites like Instagram and Facebook. 3 years ago, my mum set up an Instagram page to show stuff I get up to. She knew how valuable Animal was, inspiring our family, and we wanted to pass that along. So now I have over 17,000 followers, with the goal of smashing those old stereotypes and inspiring people with or touched by Down syndrome all over the world. Please feel free to share my Insta page out with _Milana, because I love inspiring new parents. Or last week, I was a subject on a BBC One show called Ignoring Portraits, Series 4, Episode 6. The show highlighted some of the exciting projects I'm involved in, and watching that on BBC iPlayer may be restoring and informative for new parents, and have them realise having Down syndrome is no big deal. We can do anything we set our minds to with just a little extra help and support, because the more we do, the more we realise what we're capable of. Thank you, and remember, you can make a big difference.
Really, that's brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank
you so much. So Millie's going to hang around and wait to the end of the webinar, so she can take some questions at the end. So thank you very much. And if you are interested in Nicola Enoch's TED Talk, she's given you the link for that. And do follow Millie on Instagram, and she's given you the link for that. So you hang on, Millie, and we'll take some questions at the end, okay?
Great,
But that was brilliant. Thank you so much. What an inspiration. And now we've got Claire, who's a mum of a young chap with Down syndrome, who's going to share her experiences. I thought this might be a good webinar to not just have young people with Down syndrome, but also another parent who was that parent that was worried when she had her baby with Down syndrome, and what she's been doing and how she's been managing since that diagnosis. So Claire, I'm just going to hand it over to you, and then we should have time for questions at the end.
Thanks so much, Lou. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. And I don't really know how I'm going to follow the fantasticness of Florence and Milana, but I'll give it a go. And anyway, see what I can bring to the table. So as Lou said, I'm Claire. I am a mum of 2. My boys are 8 and 11, and we live in Sutton in South London. I am a criminal defence lawyer. I am a partner at a firm called Hodge Jones & Allen. I've been doing my job for 20 years, which I still absolutely love. And my partner works for the NHS in some sort of data management, not anything hands-on like you guys do. The reason I've come along to talk to you today is because I am one of the parents who, as Lou said, had an experience where my son was born and unexpectedly had Down syndrome. So we had a postnatal diagnosis. It was a real big shock, and specifically because my eldest son was born prematurely with reduced fetal movement. So when my second pregnancy was going on, I was scanned every couple of weeks really regularly, and nothing was picked up, no markers or anything like that. So when my son Finn popped out and happened to have Down syndrome, it was a big shock, because we thought that if anything had been going on, it might have been picked up on. Basically, our experience was that we we knew that he probably had Down syndrome as soon as he was born. We could see for ourselves that that was probably what was going on. But we had a very young junior doctor come in to speak to us, and he really looked like a rabbit in the headlights. I felt quite sorry for him because he was sort of sent in on a Sunday, sort of asking us if we had any concerns about our baby, and we did bring to the table that we thought he might have a diagnosis of Down syndrome, and he was able to say that he thought there were probably some markers, but we were very much sort of left to our own devices until the Monday morning when one of the consultants came in. And I can remember her very vividly, Dr. Shepherd at St Helier Hospital in South London, and she took charge from that point and came and spoke to us. So what she did was she gave us resources, and this is something that Milana's also referred to, and how important that was. So that we were really shocked, we were really concerned, we didn't really know what it meant. We didn't know anyone with Down syndrome that had ever been in our lives before. And we were really worried about what it meant for us and for the future, and particularly for our elder son. And we were given an information pack, a welcome pack. And we couldn't look at it straight away. We weren't ready to do that. But funnily enough, my sister came along, and she is much more proactive than me in these things. And she picked up the welcome pack, she opened it, and the first thing we came across was a card congratulating us on the birth of our child. And that welcome pack had been provided by a local support group, Get On Downs, which I'm now pleased to say has recently been made a charity. And that organisation, absolutely fantastic. But it's important to get across the message that that support, that initial support and providing resources and a congratulations was so important to us. And it was when Finn was about 10 days old, we first went along to our local support group meeting. And I just cannot explain how invaluable that was to us, and how we met other people in a similar situation. And it made us realise that actually what we thought was the end of the world, in fact, wasn't at all. It gave us really up-to-date information as well, because when Finn was first born, as I've said, I didn't know anyone. My views were very outdated. I wasn't educated at all on what Down syndrome actually is these days, and how different it is, in fact, from what I had in my mind. So I wish that I had sort of a crystal ball that I could have seen into the future, and not spent so long worrying and fretting and being concerned about what the future would hold for us and our family. Finn is particularly thriving because of the knowledge and the support that he receives from people who genuinely understand the learning profile of those with Down syndrome. And there's been so much more research carried out that we're able to do that now, and able to put those resources into the right place. He is amazing. He's doing so well. He's in year 3 at a mainstream primary school. So he's with his peers that he absolutely loves, and absolutely love him. We were at parents' evening, funnily enough, last week, and we were told that he was showing a particular aptitude for fractions, which I wasn't entirely expecting, because I certainly don't have one for that sort of thing. He's got an absolutely much better social life than me, that is for sure. He goes to cheerleading, where he's part of a specialist disability team called Platinum, which was set up by a local cheerleading team called Unity All Stars, and they're absolutely amazing. One of the mums, that is another mum at the school, runs that program, and she's specifically set up a disability team so that there is a team sport available. And Finn absolutely loves it and thrives, and has been competing against other disability teams and absolutely getting so much from that. He does horse riding, he does cubs, where he was recently invested. He goes swimming every week, and he particularly enjoys going to a horse care class, which complements his horse riding, which he absolutely loves. He's regularly at birthday parties for his class friends, and he's just like one of the crew. He's just like any other kid in the class, and that's really nice for me to see. He's a brilliant reader, and his comprehension is improving all the time. I was told again at parents' evening last week that when they were just running a quiz in the class, he had his hand up and answering all the questions and getting everything right. So it's really reassuring to hear that he's taking those things in and dealing with that. So most importantly, he's amazing company. He's inquisitive, he's hilarious, and some of the stuff he comes out with never ceases to amaze us. And that is part of the research and the changing perspectives of what people with Down syndrome can achieve. And you've also heard about the amazing things that young adults and adults with Down syndrome have been achieving and are achieving. And I can only hope that my son is able to follow in the footsteps of Milana and Florence, who are a massive inspiration to me as a parent of somebody with Down syndrome. I also wanted to just touch on what my biggest concern was about how the impact would be on my eldest son. And would having a child with Down syndrome and a disability be a burden to him? And that was a real worry for me. I could not have been more wrong about that perception. They are wonderful brothers. They absolutely love each other. They get on extremely well. And in fact, they complement each other. Finn brings something out of my eldest son that he wouldn't have otherwise. My eldest son's very serious, very straight-laced, and Finn's a real sparky character. So he brings something out of my eldest, and he gives him a confidence that he wouldn't otherwise have. And in fact, he's brought him things that he's presented about Down syndrome in assemblies at his school. He's gained a bit of popularity from doing that, and he's known about the school now. And he's also an advocate for those with Down syndrome for his brother. And he's very proud about doing so, and I'm very proud of him in turn for doing that. What about me? So I trained really hard to get to where I am, and I really love my job. And when Finn was born, did I think that I was going to be able to keep doing my job? Probably not. I didn't know what it meant for me, and in fact, that hasn't been the case. Yeah, there have been, of course, challenges about how we juggle, how we negotiate, and how we make sure that we get to the therapies and other things that Finn needs. But I have continued to be able to work. I work full time, and as I've said, I'm a partner in a large defence firm, and it's really fantastic that I'm able to continue doing that and doing a job I love, as well as and alongside having my family and making sure Finn reaches his full potential. So my message really is that having a child with Down syndrome doesn't mean that life has to change beyond recognition. And with the right information, the right support from the outset, and delivering that message, so you're always starting up on a high as to what can be achieved and what can be done to make sure that your child reaches their potential, so important. And my life is just as regular as anyone else's, with just a few extra hilarious, cheeky bits thrown in. So all positive. And as I said already, I just wish I'd had a crystal ball back then, so that I couldn't have wasted so much time worrying about what my future would look like and what his future would look like. So I hope that's been of some interest. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you. That was really good. That was a really lovely insight into your life. I like the bit that you have cheeky bits. I feel I have quite a few cheeky bits in my life as well. So thanks for sharing that, Claire. I've got another couple of slides to show you all, and then we'll go on to some questions, because I think it's been a lovely webinar. Actually, I've really enjoyed it. So just to let you know, if you didn't know, Down Syndrome UK has a range of publications that you can access online that will help you support your families. The Nobody Told Me book is we give to new parents and expectant parents a little book of knowledge. We give to generally is postnatal support there, but we also have a range of resources from nursery school and beyond. And just to let you know that our next webinar is on the 28th of April, where we have Maria coming from the Maternal Mental Health Alliance is going to talk to us about maternal mental health. And the next one will be importance of language, and then followed by Down syndrome in maternity care about prenatal screening. So hopefully you'll be able to join us for one of those. And just finally, our website, if you didn't know already, is www.downsyndromeuk.co.uk. So do go on there if you have if you need any Down syndrome resources. That's my email address. I've got sign up to our portal. If you sign up to the portal, then you become on our mailing list and have access to anything new that we've got coming out. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now.